Hey guys, this is Tim with Learn to Earn Podcast, episode 11. Today we're going to go a little bit off script. Supposed to have a guest in the studio today for an interview. We're going to discuss a book, but we're going to move him for next few weeks. Next week we also have a guest. We're going to zoom in from California who's wrote a book, and he coaches real estate agents, other small businesses, anybody who needs peak performance. He's a peak performance sales coach, phenomenal. David Kesey, he'll be on the podcast next week. So it'll be our first one interviewing someone via Skype. So today we're going to get into more of the way people think. You know, it's the learn to earn. So learn to earn is basically I have to learn something before I have the right to earn something. And so I want to get into the mindset. There's two different mindsets, and it seems like either the older I get, the more I see, or the newer generation is a little bit different on the way they think. So I want to sort of just go off on a rant and talk about some of the things that I see that are going to be the difference between success and not success. And it's basically a mindset. And I know a lot of coaches and a lot of people get into the mindset coach. Me and my real estate coach the other day was talking about different people's mindset, and he's talking about mindset. Mindset is the new way to coach people. So I'm not definitely getting off on one of those tangents, but this is definitely a mindset game. And the mindsets I'm comparing is the owed mindset, like you owe me, versus the winner's mindset, versus the mindset of the winner who wants to make things happen and who wants to get things done. And I've took some notes. So the owed mindset, they want it now. They don't want to earn it. They don't want to work for it. And they don't understand that you should work for it. And what I would like to tell the people with this mindset is you work for what you get. And what I mean by that is that if you're only making X dollars per hour, that is all that your boss sees value in you. And I would like for you to take the perspective of the boss and think that and say, if that's all the value they see in you, how can you create more value? Once you create value, you create more income. 100%. When I hire people, I always start them off on a lower end, and as they create value and as they become more important in my business, what they make increases because their value increases. So your worth, your payment is in a direct correlation with the value that you bring to the business. A lot of the mindset of the owed mindset is, and I talk to kids, I mentor kids, and they're like, well, what do you want to do? And like, I'll hear answers like, well, I want to be the boss. I want to be the CEO. I want to do what you're doing. I want to do what so-and-so's doing, which is great because it is great to have great aspirations and wanting to learn to do that. But what the owed mindset forgets is the long hours. Say for me, because I can speak directly from me. What the owed mindset forgets is the time that in my business, when I was everything from the janitor to the clerk to the paper pusher to the buyer's agent to the listing agent to the contract to close for the past clients. I was the whole gambit. I wore every hat in the business. That's now a big business, but I wore every hat. And as I grew, as I was changing the trash cans, and I was mopping the floors, sweeping, and everything as the janitor, I was able to hand those tasks off because my business was able to grow. So to get to those positions, to get to the manager, the CEO, the boss, you have to start at the bottom and work your way up. A saying my wife reminded me of yesterday is the man on top of the mountain didn't fall there. And that's a great analogy because what I want you to think is there's a guy on top of the mountain and everybody looks at him in awe because he made it to the top of the mountain. But they don't realize that journey, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. And people want to gallop, they want to jump from point A to point B all the way over, and they want to hit success right then. And that's not how life works. That's not how anything works, especially life. As you're climbing up that mountain, what I want you to realize is sometimes you're having to scale a wall or scale, a mountain. And it's heavy. You're moving inches at a time, not feet at a time, but you're still making forward progression. Five years of stepping an inch a day is going to get you pretty good distance down the road if you stay consistent, if you stay on the path. But the owed mindset, they lose the destination. They get caught up where they're at, and they just want to go to the destination. They don't realize that the reason you're able to be the CEO, you're able to be the boss, is everything you learn from the janitor all the way up. You learn every part of the business. You learn things about yourself. You learn things about the people you work with. But you learn that because you're in the trenches. You can't read that in a book. You can't learn that on a course. I can't watch a YouTube video and learn that. That is nothing but experience. Experience is what creates leaders, not education. Next talking point, potential. I hear people say that all the time. They're like, what do you think my potential is? And somebody will be like, well, you're good. You have potential. I would like to challenge everybody listening to this to realize that when you hear the word potential, potential is the biggest insult in the English language. And this is not one of the 4-letter words that your mom told you not to say when you were a kid. When someone says you are full of potential, it means you are not doing everything you can. And that should be an insult. That should attack you from the inside out. That should make you disgusted. Someone said you have potential. As a young man training in combative sports, I love to hear it. I mean, you've lots of potential. And in my mind, then it means I'm going somewhere. But in all actuality, it means I'm not doing everything I can at that point. And that's how I'd like to challenge you to change your mindset and not think about what potential is. Like, am I doing everything I can do? Am I pushing forward as fast as I can go? Am I learning everything I need to learn? Am I getting the experience? The experience is what's going to get you from point A to point B. Don't know what defines your experience is up to you. To get all the way to the boss, the CEO, the manager, that takes experience. So you define the experience by what you're willing to do. If you are not getting what you deserve, then maybe you're not doing enough. And I hear this a lot from, I'm going to say the younger generation, but it's because I talk to them a lot out of my gym. My boss only pays me this. I only do this. I only get this amount of hours. This is all I get. I'm going to tell you something, that if you are doing everything that you can and you're becoming very important in my business, I'm going to do what it takes to make you happy. I'm going to do what it takes to make sure you're supported. I'm going to do what it takes to make sure that you are getting everything you need to live the life that you need. So with that being said, I want to challenge you that if you are not getting something that you think you should, or somebody is not seeing what you're capable of, I challenge you to think from the other perspective. I'm not doing enough, or he would see this. I'm not doing enough, or she would see this. If I was doing enough, I would be rewarded. They would recognize me for doing that. I challenge you to accept full responsibility, take extreme ownership, and realize you're not doing enough. The owed mindset, and this is all generations, the owed mindset, they don't want to climb up the ladder. They want to land on the top. They don't realize there are steps to every ladder. And it's like you can't just jump from the floor to the top of the ladder if it's a 20-foot ladder. You can't do that. You have to embrace every step. You have to make sure you understand that step. Make sure that step is sturdy. Make sure you can benefit, and make sure that step will propel you to the next one. Because a lot of times you get off on steps that are not going to lead you anywhere. I see a lot of people that are getting a little bit of success. They start buying cars. They start buying clothes. This isn't the steps that's going to get them to the next level. The steps to the next level is reinvesting back into your business, investing in better help, investing in partners, investing in better technology. Investing in your business is what's going to get you to the next step. Looking like you're already a success is not going to help you. The old term "fake it till you make it" is one that I despise, because it means you're deceiving somebody. Especially in the sales business, you do not deceive people. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. You can have excuses or you can have results, but you cannot have both. And you've heard me say that before. Anytime someone comes to me with that owed mindset and they're like, well, this is the reason I'm not succeeding, or if this would just happen, I would be able to do this. Again, I want to challenge you. What can I do to be here? What can I do to move a step closer? If you change your mindset to what can I do today to be a step closer to my goal? And if you do that every day, in a year, you are 365 steps closer to your goal, which is a hell of a lot more than you sitting back on your couch eating potato chips thinking, well, if that guy ever calls me about that job interview, I'll be able to make it. I'll be successful. That's what I want you to understand. Take a step every day to get you there. If it could be education, it could be experience, which is hand in hand. It could be meeting someone who's going to be able to put you in the right position. Minimum wage. And we'll talk about minimum wage. I hear a lot of people talk about minimum wage. Minimum wage should be this and minimum wage should be that. The truth is, it doesn't matter what minimum wage is, because if I make minimum wage $20 an hour, that means that the people that are making $20 an hour now are worth $40 an hour. So everything continues to rise up. The price of hamburgers, the price of cheeseburgers, the price of medicine, everything goes up. That's not going to fix anything. Minimum, I want you to remember that word, minimum wage. That means you are supplying the least amount of energy to be able to get paid. This is the minimum. A minimum wage is not supposed to be a wage to support a family. It's not supposed to be the hourly wage to support someone who wants to drive a new car and live in a nice apartment or own a house. It is the minimum. This is a starting point for people that can't find work. It's a starting point for 16-year-old kids who are starting to work at a pizza place, at a fast food restaurant. This is a starting point. It isn't a finishing point. My dad taught me a lesson, and I still remember it. He's like, and I've been working ever since I was like 14-year-old. And he said, and probably before that, cutting grass, picking up trash out of gas station parking lots. I used to break down the boxes, and when I was young, doing that. But when I started my first job, and my dad's advice to me, he goes, Tim, you never quit a job without having another one that is better and more potential. It's got those two, better and more potential. And I've not went without a job the entire time I've been alive. I mean, thank God, I've never went without a job. And when I was without a job, like when something would happen, I created something immediately. The first time I started my own business, I walked into a gym where I was working at, and the doors were locked. Within 1 week, the wife and I had a business set up, working, and already profitable. We started our first gym. We started Moab Fighting Concepts. We didn't wait for excuses. I didn't put my time in waiting for somebody else to get something done. I made it happen. With the minimum wage mindset, realize that is not an end goal. That is not a median goal. That is to get you started. So every day you look, how can I improve my life? How can I improve my job? How can I bring more value to my boss to where I'm no longer making the minimum? And when you come into a job, when you make yourself invaluable, you're going to make more money, 100%. If you come in and you make my life easier and you make me more income, I'm going to make sure you get paid more. That is the minimum. So always work, start minimum wage, whatever that is. My first minimum wage job was $4.15 an hour. I remember I worked at Hardee's. So as you're coming in, I need you to focus on, okay, now I'm making this dollar per hour. So I work my 8 hours, my 10 hours, 12 hours. I'm working overtime. Every time they call, show up. And they're going to call you in if you're working minimum wage, because people take that so willy-nilly. They leave, they call in sick, they don't show up, they quit on a moment's notice. So come in when they call you. Show your value. But when you have off, focus a time to I am doing nothing but working on getting a better job, a higher paying job. If you're not qualified, then you work on getting qualified for a higher job. What do I need to learn? Who do I need to know? Who do I need to talk to? What do I need to do to go from $12 an hour to $15 an hour? And then when you get that $15 an hour, you repeat the process. I work overtime. I come in when they call. I do anything that's needed. I work for free. I remember my first job, my first factory job, as I was a material handler, and I'd bring in material to get the day started. My day started at, I think, 7. And my dad was like, Tim, you need to go in at 6 to make sure everybody has their stuff ready to go at 7. That made 0 sense to me until I opened my own business, because I wasn't getting paid for that hour. But now that I own my business, and then I did what I was told because my dad told me to do it. Now, when I come in at 7 o'clock, everybody got to start work. Nobody waited around. Production increased. My pay increased. Everything worked like it was supposed to, because I was able to do that, which made it more beneficial to me. So sometimes you've got to do that. And quit thinking something's owed to you. You're the one creating this. So I get to the $15 an hour, and then I do the same thing. I work to create it till eventually you're topped out at whatever you want to do. You're making enough money to make you happy. You are fine. Or you created your own business, and you're able to increase your value that way. So minimum wage is not an end point. Minimum wage is a starting. You get minimum value for what you provide. What you make and what you provide are in direct correlation. 100%. If you're not making enough, I challenge you to think, I'm not doing enough. So do that challenge for me. Something is better than nothing. I get a lot of people who I've spoke to over the years, and they're like, well, I'm not going to work for $10 an hour. Okay, great. So you're going to sit at home for nothing. In a year is going to pass if we're working or not. I would rather work for a year making $10 an hour than making nothing. That is something. Something is better than nothing. Don't sit at home waiting for the big thing to come by and you just end up sitting there. If I can work for $10 an hour, work for $10 an hour, and look for something for 12. Always look to improve, but do not sit still. If I had to go back today and I had to start working for minimum wage, my goal in life, I'd go back in minimum wage. I would start working as hard as I could. I would come in every time they called me. I would do everything I could to increase my value. Because when I increase my value, I increase my pay. 100% as a business owner, as a multiple-time business owner, own multiple businesses, I'm telling you, if you bring more value than you're getting paid, your pay will increase. And I challenge you to accept that if you think you're bringing value and you're not bringing enough value yet. Hey guys, this is one of my rants, probably one of many over the next couple of years. This is the Learn to Earn podcast, episode 11.